Alright, so hello there YouTube, this is Morph Suit America, and I'm not playing on Fantasy Star Online 2. However, I will be talking about Astral Soul because I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but yeah, Astral Soul is not cheap and not easy to make, and I'll explain why, even though I explained it in my description of my Austere and Astral Soul video. Now, if you don't know how to use Affix Simulator, I'll make a separate video after I make my Affixing Part 1 tutorial video, because that video will talk about some factors you want to consider before you actually test it out on, on this Affix Simulator. I mean, I'll put the description down below talking about Affix Simulator, or like where you can go to the updated Affix Simulator and just play around with it. So yeah, just check the description down below. I have a link. Now, Astral Soul. This thing is very, very hard to make, and I shall explain why. Now, Astral Soul can, yeah, it's not easy to do it. I think you need 3. No, I don't even know if you can use 3 to get this to transfer, but the reason why Astral Soul is good and annoying. Technically, it gives you a plus 35 to every stat. Well, I wouldn't say every stat, but it's plus 35 to like the ability 3 stats if you know what they are. It gives plus 35 to S attack, T attack, R attack, but also R defense, T defense, S? Did I cover S? Oh well. Where's ability 3? Is ability 3 up here actually? If I can showcase that, then everything else will be easier. No, ability 3 doesn't go. Well, it covers most of the stats if I remember, so yeah, Astral Soul is kind of good because it gives plus 35 all around. Now, I say kind of. It depends on what you really want. Now, if you don't care about the bonuses or the benefits of it and you just want to attack, then this is not what you want to aim for. But when it comes to Astral Soul, not only does it give plus 35 to everything, it gives plus 35 HP and plus 5 PP. So this gives like a ton of HP and PP and a bunch of plus 35 stats, which is very good, tanky, and overall, it gives a lot of benefits compared to most of the other souls. Like, as you can see, there's only like maybe 5 from Magatsu, so compared to this, which gives like maybe 7 or 8 stats abilities. Now, I must say this. Astral Soul is very hard to make, and even with a soul receptor, you cannot make it. Well, technically you can, but it's not going to be at 100%. This soul defies and denies the soul receptor special ability to get it to 100%. And the maximum you can get by doing this method is getting it to like, with boost weak as well and plus 40% ability success, you'll add a 60%. Why do I have him here? Hold on. Shoot. Shoot. You have a 60% when it comes to an affix, like final affix, and the chance of it to fail is like, well, it depends. Depends on your RNG and your luck. So yeah, for it to fail, it's yeah. It's kind of like a 50-50, but 60% to a 40%, so yeah. However, if you want to avoid using this method, because depending on the number of slots you want for the Astral Soul, plus the Soul Receptor, that in itself will cost you a lot, because not a lot of people make Astral Soul, and depending on the number of slots for soul receptors, especially 5 slot for a unit and above is costly. So yeah, and to buy an Astral Soul, even if it's the junk one, might be costly because of the way to make it. Now, let me talk about some stuff to why Astral Soul's a pain in the butt to make. There is a way to actually get 100% for Astral Soul, but it's not easy. Now, we'll talk about the things you'll need. To make Astral Soul, you're gonna need a Darkness Soul and 4 Soul Catalysts. Now, what the heck is a Soul Catalyst? Now, the Soul Catalyst, I don't know if there's any lore behind it, but the Soul Catalyst can be made by taking 5 of the, what is it? 5 Fouls bosses. Double Apprentice, Persona, Elder, and Loser. Wait, did I say 5? Double, Apprentice, Persona, Loser, and Elder. I think I got all 5. But yeah, you need to get all 5 of these souls just to get the soul to make a soul catalyst. Now, where's the other one? Blah 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 blah. I cannot find someone. Where is he? Elder. Where's Loser? Son of a. There we are. Loser. So as you can see, a soul catalyst can be made. Now, the biggest issue when making a soul catalyst, it's at 10%. Other than using the affix boost, like the passive affix boost buff, or like the success ability items, items. Yeah, you cannot increase this. There's no soul to increase this yet. There's no easy method to make it. You're gambling at 50% at the very least. 60% if you have the passive boost week, affix week thingy. Now, this is only making the soul catalyst. So if you try to make a soul catalyst and then try to get like the modulators and flints on it, it's gonna be a pain in the butt. Especially for units, because units are yeah, it's doubled. The price is up there, it's doubled compared to a weapon one, and you need 3 of them as well, so yeah, you're gonna need a lot of money to back you up. And I'll demonstrate what it will look like if you try to add fancy abilities onto it with this stuff. And now the things I'm gonna put on here are kind of hard to manipulate, and it's not available in the market because you have to manipulate for this stuff. So yeah, I'll demonstrate the annoying process of this. The only way you can actually get these good abilities onto your units or your weapons the smart way, or in the very gambly, costly method, or non-costly method, would be to actually, or less kind of cheap method, even though it's like still expensive as, oh my god. But yeah, it's gonna take a lot of manipulation, and it's not easy too. Cause I made my 4 slot Astro units. Wait, yeah, Astro, yeah. And to be honest, it didn't require much because I made it very simple. However, making the soul catalyst was still a pain in the butt. At the very least, I cut down the requirements because I farmed and kept most of the fodder pieces, which saved you a good amount of money. But if you didn't do that, then you're gonna be struggling and you're gonna have a hard time. Now, what other abilities do I want? You know what, I'm just gonna dump a bunch of stuff and hope for the best. I don't know if this is gonna work. Yeah, I ought to kick something in the butt. Da da da. Alright, that has one. Aren't you over there? This has that over there. Yeah, like I said, this fodder is kind of impossible to find in the market because you actually have to make it. And I'm just making this up for Affix Simulator demonstration purposes. Oh gosh, what did I do? I got rid of that, didn't I? Let's put a mind. Alright, so let's say you're trying to get a soul catalyst with all these abilities. Yeah. One is going to be impossible, and two is going to be hard to maintain. How the heck is... Oh, right, because these boost the... Right, right. So, yeah, as you can see, everything looks good except the soul catalyst, and if I put a plus 40 on it, I'm risking a 50%, even with all these abilities. And now let's do it. And apparently the soul catalyst failed, and that means you're stuck with a 4-slot fodder piece without the soul catalyst. And how many times will this happen? Okay, this one succeeds, this one failed, that one failed, fail. So yeah, RNG and luck, and you're gambling a ton. However, if you make a soul catalyst with like these abilities, you're gonna have to make another soul catalyst with flint armor and modulators and maybe another power 3 another time. And yeah, it's gonna be a pain in the butt. The manipulation is up there. If you know about affixing, or if you understand what I'm talking about, then yeah, just getting the good abilities on a soul catalyst will cost you 3 times as much, or maybe even more, to something simple like a uh, flint armor modulator 5-slot fodder unit. Because like to get all these abilities on a soul will be like getting 3 of them for... It's just a lot. So yeah, when it comes to making soul catalysts, you're gonna have to be smart about it, and it's gonna cost a lot if you want good abilities like I did with my Austere weapon. But let's get to the good part where you can actually make the Astral Soul. Let's pretend you actually made 4 soul catalysts. Shoot, I have so many stuff turned on, which I don't need. Right, I need a darkness soul, though. There's a darkness soul. I don't need a... Do I need a special? Yeah, special gives this. As you can see, Astral Soul is at 60%, and if you use a plus 40%, it's at 100%. Now, I advise you guys never to upslot with this thing, because upslotting will skew the percentages. For example, let's say I want to try to make it into a 5-slot. Gosh, this is gonna be annoying. This is gonna be a while. I cannot cut this. Alright, that should be good enough. Now I can drag everything over here. Alright, so let's say everything's at a 4-slot, and you want to try to go for a 5-slot. I'm gonna advise against it, because this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna get skewed. Even with plus 40%, you're still at 76%. And then if you got a 10% boost, it's at 86%. And there's a 25% chance of this to fail, so let's see. Okay, that succeeds, succeeds, fail, 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 succeed, succeed, fail, fail, da 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 da. So most of the time it's gonna succeed, but you know, if you're gonna gamble I mean, if you find the pieces out on the field and you use it to make your soul catalysts and you didn't waste money spending it in the market, then you might want to risk this and try to upslot. However, if you didn't find the stuff, you use money to get it, and then you waste the chance of getting 100% on a Astral Soul because you try to upslot and gamble, that's going to hurt your wallet more than anything else. But your money, your cost. So yeah, when it comes to making Astral Soul, it's gonna be really costly, especially when it comes to getting certain abilities, especially with modulators for Flint and Power, because you have to do a lot of manipulations. And the only actual way to like skip all that process and demonstration purposes, where is it? The easiest method to get a 5 slot Astral Soul with good abilities like modulators, flints, um, maybe a power. So I'm gonna have to copy this 3 times. Heck, let's also add the 10% as well because I want to see something. Oh, let's put these two in there. And then let's put a bunch of junk abilities on them. Da 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 da. And then I put all of these in here, a B, D, an E, an F. Alright, so, yeah. What, if you have a soul receptor, it's gonna make, you're gonna have to gamble anyway, so, let's say you want your modulators, your flints, your power, your maybe ability 3, because if you get ability 3, that's gonna boost up a lot. And you do this on like a fixed week, you get your plus 10%, and then you try to get Astral Soul as well, use a plus 40%. You get everything at 100 except Astral Soul. However, let's try to get it. Okay, apparently I got it. Let's do it again. I failed. Let's do it again. I got it. I got it. I don't. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, there's a negative 40% chance of it to fail, and you're gambling. So if you made these pieces and you're willing to gamble them, then that's fine. But I know this is costly in itself to make because you're gonna have to get 3 modulators, 3 flint armors, and then maybe 1 or 2 power threes, maybe 3 if you want to go that far. But yeah, it's just like the manipulation just to make these fodders in itself costs a lot, and then making an Astral Soul in itself is costly, and then getting a soul receptor is costly, and then to get something like this, you're gambling. But if you have a lot of money, you don't need to worry about it because you have a lot of money. Like 1 billion would actually get something like this, maybe. But anyways, yeah, if you get it to succeed and you gambled on it, you get 130 S attack, but you get all these dang buffs. Like you get plus 50 in your SR and T defense if you use like if you have like a good 11-star unit, like a Saki unit, that's gonna boost up the defense of it as well, and then you get a ton of HP and PP, and it's just wow. And if you times this by 3 too, that's a lot of SR and T defense plus your like what is, if you time that by 3 you get 0, 2, 1, maybe 420 S attack plus the weapon, which gives it like 570 S attack overall, plus all this defense and all this extra HP and PP. So yeah, it's just that if you're gonna make Astral Soul, you're gonna need a lot of money compared to something like a modulator or Flint, because the fact that you had to make an Astral Soul is painful because you had to make these soul catalysts, which in itself painful because yeah. So if you do this method, and if you don't upslot, you can get 100% on Astral Soul. You just need to use a plus 40%. However, if you want to add other abilities to it, you're gonna be doing a lot of manipulation just to get like good abilities um on these souls prior to making the soul catalyst, because to make something like to make a soul catalyst with some good abilities, you're gonna have to do something like this. Let's see. Let's take. Where are you? Where is he? Let's take Elder for example. Like, you know how the formula says you need double apprentice, persona, elder, and loser. Okay. To make your own loser fodder, I mean elder fodder, or if you're lucky enough, you can actually find out the field. Maybe you would want something like, maybe there's a power in there. Okay, that's good. You don't need to worry about. Maybe you got like 3 powers on the elder soul 4 slot. All right, that's good in itself. You don't need to worry about you don't need to worry about affixing power 3 onto it, but you may want like flint armor on this. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, something like that. Maybe you want modulators and flints on there. Or maybe a flint with technique, maybe, when you try to get ability 3. So, you're gonna have to do something like this. If you're lucky, if you can actually find a flint armor with ability 3. And I seen a video that someone posts showing how to farm flint, so yeah. So yeah, let's say you got 2 of these and then you just got a regular flint armor. Let's give it a. Alright, so this is 4 slot. You want to make sure you stay at 4 slot because you're trying to make a 4 slot flint armor. I mean, no, Astral Soul unit. Or you can use alter, but this, yeah, let's use flint for now. So yeah, you can easily get like 100% with this. Let's turn off the boost. Yeah, as you can see, this stuff can be at 100. Just pop up plus 30%. Everything's at 100%. Okay, that's great. Now, you make this. Wait, what did I do? Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. So you make this Elder Soul Flint Armor Technique 3 Power 3. And then you shove it in here. I'll take you out for now. I'll put a bunch of Flint Armor everywhere. Let's take you out too. Alright, so let's say you use that fodder piece. You put it in your formula. Now, okay, flint armor is available. When you try to make your fodder piece, for example. Alright, so yeah, when you make your soul catalyst fodder piece, you're gonna have that selected. Then you get to go for power 3, technique 3, and then what is it? Flint armor. Now, as you can see, everything is close to 100. Well, is 100% except soul catalyst. And if you fail it, that fodder piece you just made with I don't know how much money you use on the market, or if you found it, which is okay if you found it because you're not losing anything other than these pieces. But if you bought it on the market, you just waste however much money you did to get this, just to make this, and then to it to fail. Now, this is why Astral Soul is very hard to make, because of the percentage of failure is still down there. It's not even at 70%. It's stuck at 60% or 50% or 40% depending on when you do it. And if you don't even use a boost, you're gambling at 10%. However, if you find your own fodder pieces and you don't mind gambling at 10% and laughing your butt off if you are successful when making a Soul Catalyst, and that's great. However, if you plan to sell Soul Catalyst in the market or Astral Souls, it will be useless if it doesn't have anything good, especially a Soul Catalyst. It might be useful depending on how many number slots it has. But like I said, if it doesn't have, if it's 4 slots, it might sell. If it's 5 slot or above, it better have some good abilities on it because a lot of people will be. Some people might be willing to pay for the fodder piece, depending on how they calculate the process of making a soul catalyst with whatever they need on it. And that's how you can get some easy money. However, it's not going to be easy money because making a soul catalyst is a pain in the butt. Getting those abilities are also a pain in the butt. And the only way to actually save money from all of this annoying process, or like just the tediousness of all this, is if you find your fodder piece. Now, I will talk about this in game on PSO2, how you can find the fodder piece with the right abilities, but if you really want to save money, and if you have the time for it, you want to make sure you farm for this material in game. There are several methods to do this, but the the better you farm, I mean, how am I gonna word this? The more you farm with the correct abilities or the abilities you really want, and you have an abundance of it, you can easily save you a bunch of money so you don't need to buy from other players and you can save your meseta. And this will be very smart on your part so you don't need to waste so much money to another player who can actually be doing something with your money when you can have uh, use that money for something else, or you can just use it for your project. But I mean, making an Astral Soul is very painful because of the Soul Catalyst, and the chance of it is, yeah. I'm not gonna repeat myself as much. You know why the Soul Catalyst is a pain in the butt, and then Astral Soul as well. If you do not do the right formula, if you do this formula right here, you'll be fine. The only main issue is the Soul Catalyst. And then the other biggest issue is adding the Soul Catalyst with abilities you want. Because to do something like, what is it? I did not do that, did I? Like, if you have a bunch of Soul Catalysts with a bunch of good abilities on it, that means you spend a good amount of money. And it's gonna be. You can think of it as like doing a flint modulator 5 slot unit fodder with Soul Catalyst. And if the Soul Catalyst just doesn't transfer, you just wasted a ton of money on that. Technically, you can recycle the stuff that failed so you can try to do something with it. But if you don't know much about affixing, if you're still new to it, then yeah. And I advise most new players not to go after this unless you really want a challenge when it comes to affixing, because Astral Soul is a pain in the butt. And if unless you have a bunch of money and a good amount of luck, then I really, really, really say do this at your own risk. Because even though I made a 4 slot unit set for with Astral Soul that gives me plus 110 S attack and then plus 50, what is it, plus 50 all stats except the HP and PP, it was still a pain to make. The only issue was like when I actually made those units, the S attack, noble power were a pain in the butt to get. But anyways, yeah, it's just that the units I finalized, I'm kind of glad about it, but then I'm mad because I could have made 5 slot units, but yeah. They didn't have a bunch of souls I was looking for in the market, and I got really mad, and I was like, oh, F this, I'm gonna make 4 slot, and then blah 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 blah. Now I have 4 slots, but I'm okay with it because not a lot of people make Astral Souls because they know how hard it is to make. However, I gotta say that even with my fighter who uses limit break with who uses limit break, he has a full set of astro units with the Saki set, and his weapon also has Astral Soul. So Yeah, it actually takes me 2 to 3 hits to kill me when I'm in that limit break mode. It doesn't take one shot to kill me. But yeah, like I also have a never die perk, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny that it takes a while to kill my fighter when he has those units. So yeah, it's just that Astral Soul is very good when it comes to giving a lot of benefits. It's just that depending on your playstyle, the time you have, and the money, and the patience, and not strictly due to Monica for making you mess up on the fixes, Astral Soul can be very difficult to make. I gotta say that when I made Astral Soul, I felt accomplished because I'm an fixer. I like fixing stuff, very hard stuff. But yeah, it's just that Astral Soul was kind of like up there, and people say, "Oh gosh, Astral Soul is so hard to make," blah 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 blah. And I actually made one. I was happy, but it's not at a higher tier. It's not at a 5 slot, and I seen players with 5 slot Astral Soul, and I will bet my money that they made this formula right here that I conjure up, because is the easiest method than doing this method with all the modulators and flints and what you want to talk about. Actually, wrong one. Like, instead of having all this stuff, like, imagine is that 5 slot? Yeah, that is 5 slot. Wait, how the heck is it a 5 slot when it's a 4 slot? I'm confused. Oh, right. Okay, that's what happened. So, imagine this as a 5 slot instead. And just imagine modulators, flint armors, power 3s, technique 3, shoot 3. Like, imagine all of that on, like, 3 of these soul catalysts. Yeah, that's a lot of money I spent just to get a bunch of those good abilities on 3 soul catalysts. Because that means prior to doing that, I had to get a bunch of abilities on these things and somehow successfully make them with a soul catalyst. And the risk is still there at 50-50 because there's no weak boost weak bonus to it. So yeah. And the only I mean, I would love to do that and risk a bunch so I can just get 100% on everything. But the issue is, I had to gamble in the first stages with a soul catalyst, which is already bad as it is. And the other issue is I had to find everything at 5 slots, and that means I had to find a flint armor and modulators at 5 slots so I can get the soul catalyst at 5 slots with all that stuff. And it's just a pain in the butt. Like I said, Astral Soul, above anything else, is hard to make with all these good abilities. And if you can make it using the regular formula, and just having it at 5 slot with all the good abilities you have, I congratulate you and say you're very rich and you're very good at fixing and manipulating because of your luck. This is the easiest method to gamble instead of doing all this other stuff right there. This will assure you, like whatever I was talking about earlier a few minutes ago, this will assure you the 100% on Astral Soul with all your good abilities, but it will be so costly. When it comes to making an Astral Soul with all the good abilities, but you're risking the Astral Soul, this is a gamble in itself, and this might hurt you as well, because making these fodder pieces is a pain in the butt. So as long as you got the money and you're willing to gamble the heck out of this game, then yeah, making an Astral Soul with all these good abilities, very risky. But anyways, that's all I'm going to talk about. I just wanted to bring up Astral Soul because I think most players don't know about Astral Soul. And if they look at my main character's units, they're going to be like, how do you make that? And I'll be like, it's a painful process. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you around.